Hi, this is Randy. What you're looking at is some wilting roses that I purchased for myself. I buy myself flowers regularly because I like them and no one else is going to buy them for me, so I love to buy myself flowers, especially when they're on sale. So this video is going to maybe sound like a bit of a rant about where to meet men and other people's opinions about where to meet men. So, first of all, I just want to clarify that I understand, there's a difference between being positive, possibly, unrealistic. Then there's being negative, on the other hand. And then there's, in the middle of being positive and negative, I think there's the realistic approach, being realistic. So realistic, I think, is neither positive nor negative. It just is realistic. And sometimes I like to be realistic. So, yes, all the men I have met in the past 3 years have been either through a dating site or a meetup group or at a bar outside of the dating site or meetup group. The meetup groups are also occurring at bars and restaurants, so I guess those would, be both meetup and bar. So people comment, oh, bar's not a good place to meet a guy, and I am quite aware of that. I'm well aware of that. I will tell anybody the same thing. A bar's not a good place to meet a guy. Okay, however, the other options that are presented to me are, in my opinion, extremely unrealistic. The suggestions that people make about, oh, here's all the other places that are good to meet a man or would be good. But they don't think it through. They don't follow it all the way to the end. They just say this would be a good place. Well, it's a good place because a man who's single might be in that place, but that's as far as it goes. They might be at the grocery store. Of course, they will be at some point. Cute single men my age at some point do go to the grocery store. Yes, they do. They absolutely will be there, and they'll be there focused on the food that they're trying to get and putting it into their cart and then checking out. So do I know that that person is single just because he's in the grocery store by himself? No, not at all. Do I know that they're not married? Do I have to be looking at hands? No, because guys who are married still don't wear rings, so it means nothing. A lot of times they're with their kids, and they're not going to start up a conversation while they're with their kids. So they would need to be alone. They would need to be pretty unfocused on what they went there for and kind of like looking up, looking around. And when I'm in a grocery store, I'm sorry, but I am focused on, what I need to buy. I'm looking at my list, I'm putting it in the cart, and I'm getting the hell out of there. I really don't enjoy spending a lot of time in the grocery store kind of looking around for possible guys. So the likelihood of meeting someone in the grocery store is very, very unrealistic. Of course, it's possible. But even when you meet and talk to someone in a grocery store, you never see them again. You never even find out if they were single. So it's not a good suggestion. It's a really far out kind of a stretch. I did meet a guy in a grocery store once because we were both picking out cat food. And then after that, we were in the same aisle picking out eggs. And he said something to me about the plant that I had in my basket. So that's the only time I've talked to a man in a grocery store, but I wasn't attracted to him, so like didn't matter anyways. So let's throw that one out and let's go to my interests. Well, the hobbies that I have, that's where I can that's where I can maybe meet a man. Well, yoga? Really? Yoga? Well, there's usually like 1 man to 0 in every one of my yoga classes that I go to every week. I've never been attracted to any of them. The likelihood that they're even my age is low, and I would have no idea if they were married or single, but I really wouldn't like a guy who goes to yoga. It's just not my type. Just because I like yoga, I don't want the guy that I'm attracted to necessarily like yoga. In fact, if he did, I wouldn't probably like that guy. I don't like someone who's exactly the same as me. Belly dancing, yeah, I want to take a belly dancing class. I'm not going to find a guy in there, and if I do, that will not be a man that I'm attracted to. It probably would not be a heterosexual man. Sporting events, yes, men love sporting events, don't they? They go to sporting events and they like to watch sporting events on TV at home. They also like to watch sporting events at bars on the big screen TV when they live alone so that they can get out of the house. Bingo. Bar? Okay. Bar much? No. I know you guys don't like bars, but that is a good place when you think about that aspect, because they do go there to watch sports on TV and kind of like chum around with some other guys that are cheering or booing or whatever they do together. So I disagree that sports bars would not be a good place to meet somebody. I disagree. Now, how about the actual sporting event? Well, they will go with their kids, and they will go with their wives, girlfriends. They might go with their friend if they're my age and single. But why am I gonna be there? You forget that I'm not gonna be at a sporting event with my friend. 'Cause first of all, I don't have any, but if I did have a friend, like, I don't even like sports. I mean, it's okay, but I'm not going to buy a ticket and go to a sporting event by myself. So I'm not going to be there. So yeah, it would be a good place, but I don't show up there, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to personally develop a specific hobby just in case by chance, after I develop this hobby, that I continue to go this place by myself, and I purposely force myself to enjoy this hobby, and then maybe I'll meet somebody. That's a little bit, putting way too much effort. How about Home Depot? Can I meet a guy at Home Depot? Well, how often do I need to really go to Home Depot? Maybe 2-3 times a year. Should I even bother to wear makeup when I go up there? The 2 or 3 times a year that I go, just in case. And then, the guy would have to be not real focused on, getting his crap and then checking out. He'd have to be looking up, looking around, scoping it out. We'd have to end up in the same aisle. We have to be around the same age. He has to be single. And that's what it would take to start a conversation. And then after we talk about like the light bulb or the, door handle or the lock or the paint, like, how does it move forward from there? It doesn't. So it's not a realistic spot. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. The golf course? Sure, when you think about it, boy, that would be cool. There's a bunch of guys at the golf course. Yeah, they probably got a little bit of money because they can afford to golf. It's an expensive hobby. It's outdoors, sun shining and everything. Sounds great on the surface. Problem is, how do I end up on the golf course? Now, do I purposely take golf lessons? And even if I did purposely take golf lessons, I'm not going to meet him at the lesson unless it's the instructor. And, I forgot to mention, but a golf instructor would not be a good guy to date. All he does is teach other women golf. Can't trust that. So I go ahead, let's say, I go and take golf lessons, spend money, force myself to enjoy and learn how to do it, and then when do I end up golfing? What I do, I have to meet I meet other women that I can golf with, and then maybe by chance, after I spend all this money on the lessons and then on actually doing the hobby, and I get together with other women who do it, then maybe there might be some single ones there, and then maybe we might meet somebody. So, it just seems like, God, that's so much effort. It's so artificial. It'd be like artificial. Now, how did I meet the ex-narcissist? I met him on the beach, and it was the best place ever to meet somebody. I went with 2 friends. We were all single. And we were in our late 20s and early 30s. We were single, and the narcissist and his friend that was on the beach was also single, and they were swimming, and we sat our blankets down on the beach, and we scoped them out, and we looked at them for long enough time that they came over to our blanket and sat down next to us and started to talk to us. Now that happened in the early 30s, late 20s, and it happened on a beach, and I was with friends who were single. I wasn't by myself because I have gone to the beach by myself, and I will go to the beach by myself in the future. But I won't be going to the beach very often by myself. So yeah, that's a possibility. But the thing is, now that we're older, how many 45, 50-year-old men go to the beach by themselves or with a friend who's also single? And they say, hey, look, let's say, instead of staying home barbecuing and drinking beer and watching the game, Harry, why don't you and I go to the beach and spend the day at the beach today? Really? You think that happens? Okay, so if anybody has real suggestions that you can actually back up and follow it all the way through to the age, the situation, being single, the likelihood that this is something men do, that this is something I would do or a woman might do naturally, not artificially, where you're not just randomly spinning your wheels all out crazy to find a man. I'm not that desperate. I do what's easy, and I do what's nearby, and I do what's natural. And no, it may not be the best idea to meet them at a bar, but I've met the most men, and it happens to be at bars, sports bars, during meetup groups. And I certainly am open to other suggestions, but they need to be realistic ones. Thanks for listening.